My name is Danny and I'm an addict.
Hey, Dan.
Hey, Dan.
And I'm sorry. I'm so glad to be here. And I am very grateful that I was asked to do this workshop. I can tell you that I have firsthand knowledge of I Can't, We Can in every aspect of my life since I came into recovery. I'm just going to give you a little bit of my background. I'm an Army brat. So, like every 3 years, I had to get up and go. So what I did to feel like I was part of something, because I really wasn't part of something at my home, and we're just going to leave that there. But, I would join like athletic things. I was into soccer. I was into all kind of sports, and I kept myself very busy. I was in ROTC, total badass on the drill team. And so, but I did all of that so I could be part of something, But at the end of the day, I always went home, and I went to my, bedroom or whatever. We didn't have dinner as a family. We would eat, we would do whatever, and then I would go and do my homework, and I'd start it all over the next day. So I was involved with a lot of athletic activities throughout my high school, most of my schooling, just so I would not feel alone, right? So, then I got introduced to, some, substances. First it was alcohol, led to blackouts every time. Then it was, just other things. So I stopped that for a long time because I went to school, started having kids, got my life together and all that stuff. But, life showed up and certain life events started happening. The next thing you know, I'm feeling like I'm alone again because, I'm going through a divorce. Didn't have any family or anything like that to kind of back me up. So, I found some serious ease in numbing myself by putting things in my body, okay? And so for approximately 10 years, that's what I chose to do. And as a result of doing that, I found that it was really easy for me to not establish relationships in the type of lifestyle that I was, in. All I wanted was what I needed, and then I wanted to go and not share with anybody, so I went and was by myself. I thought I was taking care of myself, I'd eat when I was shaking so bad that, I had to. I didn't really think about, nutrition. I didn't think about like anything except getting one more. And so when I came into the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous, I was introduced to Narcotics Anonymous. I heard this story earlier when I was incarcerated. And, H and I came into the jail I was at, and I got to get out of my cell. And so I went there, and I really wasn't participating when I first started going. I just wanted something to do other than what I had been doing for quite some time. And so as a result of that, going and just listening, to what the members that came in were sharing, and then listening to other, people other women that were around me, like their stories, I started, saying that's pretty similar to where I've been, and where it's taken me and what have you. So, I came into the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous thinking that I could do this, because like throughout that I could do this by going to the meetings. As long as I went to the meetings, I was going to be okay. If they were going to teach me how that I could use successfully and be functional once again, or it wasn't just for me or whatever. Excuse me, I got to get water. But what I found when I came in the rooms is I was greeted lovingly. And, even though I tried to make myself feel alone when I was in a room of people that were like me, and I just wasn't able to. I wanted to, because I was trying to be so resistant to what I was trying. I was trying something new because I knew that what I had been doing wasn't working for me. So I came in, I was embraced, I was loved on. I didn't know what to do with any of that because it was so foreign to me. So I resisted it as long as I could, but what I did do when I came in was I listened to suggestions. And, the way that my body stance was and my demeanor and everything about how I was presenting myself was very unapproachable. I came in with a lot of anger, a lot of resentment, a lot of guilt, a lot of shame, you know? So I continued to come to these meetings, and what I found was, you know, it was suggested to me that I needed to continue coming clean, and to, you know, get me a sponsor. So in those meetings when I was listening, I listened. I was, you know, always like a sponge when I first came in. And I listened to a woman. I found her as my sponsor, asked her if she would be my sponsor. She made me do this 30-day thing because I didn't know how to talk to anybody. I was very reserved, very guarded when I came in. And she kind of broke me down a little bit, got me to where I could start talking, because I would call her and she didn't want to, you know, she just wanted to know how my day was. And I thought that was bizarre. I'm like, hold on a second, we got to get to this. This is where we need to be. And she was the first person that I was able to like let myself be, I guess, honest with. And so by doing that, she introduced me to so many other women and men in these rooms. And we didn't initially start doing the steps. What I did was I was just kind of like going to places with these people, and I was like learning, you know, they do everything together. You know, these people love each other. They know about their lives. They know about their dogs. You know what I'm saying? You know, they know about everything. And it's kind of awesome because everybody is so happy, so positive, and even if something bad or, you know, life-changing happens, they're there. They suit up, they show up, and here they are. And I was like, holy crap, this is amazing. Because I had never experienced anything. These guys, I was moving every 3 years. I didn't have real friends. You know, I had friends while I was there, you know, with the activities that I was doing or whatever, but I didn't have, like, family. You know what I mean? It was an exhilarating experience for me, but I was so taken aback by it that I would get very emotional, you know, and because I was that angry girl, and I wasn't going to let you know that I was soft and I wasn't going to cry, I didn't know what to do with those feelings, you know, so it was suggested to me that I start writing things down, and so I did. And whatever I would write down that was problematic, I would go over it with my sponsor. My sponsor became my first we, you know, she was my first we, and then her friends and her foundation and her fellowship became my we also. We started working on the steps, and I'm like, you know, all these steps have the word we in them, you know, and that was amazing to me. It's like, nothing here is identifying as one. You know, it was like, at first, when I first was introduced to the literature, I was like, okay, this is about we. You know, this program is based on the experience, strength, and hope of others. You know, and they're opening it up, and they're sharing that with me. And so when I started working on the steps, oh my goodness, did I tell you how I was just different. I was not like y'all. The only thing we had in common is that we did some dope together, you know, or whatever. But then once I started doing it, I was like, dude, this took me here. Man, I did this. I was like this to other people when I'm sitting here saying I'm a good person, and I did all of these bad things to my family, to my friends, to everyone. And I wanted to isolate myself. I wanted to be that loner, you know? So everybody, it was always I. Now, my whole entire life, as soon as I was able to, I was part of a team. You know, y'all have always heard, you know, there's no I in team. Well, I was going to show you that there was, you know, even when I came into the rooms, you know, because it was so foreign to me. I didn't know what to expect when I first came in, and then all I saw was love, acceptance, you know, fellowshipping, friendliness. It was just, like I said, foreign. You know, so what I did was I started taking the suggestions of my sponsor. I started building my own little network, building my own little foundation, and knew that without this program, there wasn't really anything that I couldn't get through. You know, they always talk about the reservations of what's going to, you know, I know I'll go back out if this happens and this happens and this happens. I've had a lot of this happens to me since I've been in recovery, and I feel like I'm still a newcomer with a few years, you know, whatever, my time. Because every time I come in, I'm so blown away by experiences of others, you know. I've had, you know, I've lost jobs. I didn't get jobs that I thought I was going to get because God, my higher power, didn't think I was ready for them. I lost my mom pretty, you know, suddenly. You know, she fell one day, and 3 months later, she's not with me anymore. And then, you know, 2 years later, I lose my dad in a tragic house fire. You know, but not like one single time through any of that was I by myself. You know, I always had people calling me, texting me, being with me, even when I was like, no, I'm okay. You know, no, I am okay. I'm okay. Because I was always so used to stuffing everything that's what I was wanting to do, was stuff it. And they're like, no, you need to do this. You need to be able to cry, man. You need to be able to do these things. You've never let yourself feel anything, you know? And I mean, sometimes that's still true today. I've had the honor, I see it as an honor now, to take custody of one of my grandsons, because my daughter's one of us, and I'm trying to give her the opportunity to be able to, you know, fully focus on herself. By doing that, I am being part of her we. You know, so not only do I have my own we in this program, I am now part of somebody else's we, and a lot of other people's we's when we're talking about it like that. I hope this makes sense, because I'm just trying to make some sense right now. Anyways, you know, but at first it was, you know, because it was so new, it was so foreign to me or whatever, I didn't know what I was doing. And one of my very, 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 very dear friends told me it takes a tribe or a village to raise a child. Mm-hmm. And I have a village today. This village is made up of men, women, different ages, different, you know, sexes, different creeds, religions, different sexual identities and orientations, but we're all part of one. Because when we're together, we can get through anything, and we don't have to put any dope on it. I know I don't have to today, and it's really kind of awesome, because that's not my go-to anymore. You know, before I wanted to feel that comfort from the drugs going into my body. I wanted to feel that you know, that no worrying, because, you know, I had like blown out every brain cell in my that possibly could from taking that one hit or whatever. You know, only to realize that whenever the drugs weren't working anymore, the pain and the problems and all of the feelings and the stuffing and everything was still there. You know, I haven't had to do anything since I've come into recovery by myself. I haven't had to make one decision alone when I allow others in. You know, and I'm pretty open today as far as like letting myself be vulnerable, because that was one of my downfalls when I first came in. I wouldn't allow others to get in and to get to know Danny. And as a result of that, you know, it was just impeding what I was working so hard to get, and that was a better version of myself. Being able to be available for others today. You know, I learned that in this program. You know, because my friends today are so honest and can come up to me and tell me how I am hurting them and how it is, like, I'm not being a good friend. And I need that, because it's done in such a loving manner, because I don't want to act like that. But that's what I'm so used to doing. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, I don't want to go to this, or I can't be there and participate in your family event because of this, when they want me there because I am so close to them now. And it hurts them. And I don't realize that, because I'm still a little self-centered. It's progress, you know what I'm saying? I'm still working on Danny, you know. But I do want to be part of this WE program. And as a result, I have to put in the footwork. You know, I come to this convention, I think this is my 5th convention, man. Oh. This is pretty awesome. Yeah. So anyways, this is my 5th convention, and I remember the first time I was ever asked to do anything, you know, even on a home group level. And I would be so beside myself, because I didn't want to sound like, you know, I didn't want to sound wrong, you know, and I didn't want to sound like I didn't know what I was talking about. And I have experience in this today, so that's why I feel a little bit comfortable now than I did 5 maybe minutes ago. Because I know that you guys are going to love me no matter what. You know, I know that you guys are going to give me the encouragement and the support that I need to get me through things like this, to where I can, you know, I can be better, and I can take the message and carry it out, you know, to others that are still in need. You know, my story means something. It means something to me today, but it also means something to others, because without my story, they wouldn't know how to help me, and they wouldn't know what to do to help me grow, you know? So I know that this is not an easier way of life, but it sure as hell is a better one. You know, I have gifts in recovery that I never thought that I would ever experience. You know, I know what unconditional love feels like today. I know what romantic love feels like today. I know what friendship is today, and I know what family is today. And my NA family is my family. You know, and what's cool about coming to conventions, man, is because your family gets to grow. You know, you get to love on other people from other areas and stuff. So I think that's all I've really got right now. I know that I can't, but we can. That's all.
Thank you so much, Dean.
Great job.
You could have went longer.
I know.
I turned my watch off.
Wanda.
Hey, Wanda.
I'd like to thank the committee for asking me. It's always an honor, but even though I wanted to say no, because I just got asked this morning, so I didn't feel like I really had a chance to prepare. And, but you know, I also like, I grew up, my mother already had grandkids when I was born, because she was 42 when I was born, so she had grandkids. So I grew up feeling alone, you know, not part of the family. And even though we ate as a family, because if you didn't eat as a family, you wasn't going to get nothing because it was all gone, because with so many kids. But I just to give an example, I remember one time, like, my mama drank coffee, and I always wanted to drink coffee, taste her coffee, and she wouldn't let me. But one of my nieces would come over, and she would let her drink her coffee. And it used to get me so mad, you know, that I didn't understand, you know. But so she died when I was 16, and I had to go live with a brother and his wife, and they weren't touchy-feely kind of persons either, not even really with themselves, you know, as a couple. And so when I got here, I had a really hard time letting people hug me. You know, I wanted it, but I didn't want it. You know, it's one of those, come on, no, don't. You know, and sometimes even today, I'm going to be honest, sometimes even a day, if somebody comes up and hugs me, I get a little uncomfortable, especially if they, you know, I've got some people that like to hug long, and I'm not a long hugger, and so I start getting a little uncomfortable, you know. But I know that, you know, that's part of the whole fellowship and getting to feel the love you were talking about, you know, is, and when I got here, back when I got here in 1983, and back then they said, when they introduced themselves, they said every drug they'd ever used, you know, and everything they used just about, I did not use. And so I kept thinking, well, maybe I'm not an addict because I didn't use what they used, you know. And, but I remembered what they told me in treatment, just listen for the similarities and not the difference, and listen for the pain. And so I would try to do that when people would share, you know. And so I wasn't gonna, when I got out of treatment, I had all these things that I said I wasn't gonna do. I wasn't gonna get a sponsor. I wasn't gonna read the basic text. I wasn't gonna do this. I wasn't gonna do that, you know. And I tried it and got real miserable, you know, and wanted to use really bad or kill my husband or kill myself. Not Bob, I wasn't married to him then. But, you know, and so somebody said to me, well, have you thought about getting a sponsor and working steps? You know, so it's like a whole different concept, you know. And I met this woman, I got clean in Shreveport, Louisiana. I met this woman that lived in Fort Worth and at a camp out. And we connected, you know, and I got her as a sponsor. And she taught me how to love the women, because I didn't know how to love the women. I mean, you know, if you tried to put your arm around me as a woman or hold my hand, I was very uncomfortable. I would be thinking, I'm not gay, you know, and it was very uncomfortable for me. But she taught me that that's the way we show love, you know, for each other. And so I had to learn how to, like, walk through the mall and let them hold my hand, you know, and be uncomfortable and just, you know, to learn how to do that. But so, you know, when I started working the steps, I started realizing what they meant when they said that I can't do this by myself, you know. And I know today that I can't do it by myself, you know. I sponsor a lot of ladies, and, you know, so, and I love when they come do a step with me, because it, you know, sometimes I get more out of the step work than I think they do. You know, I just did a 6-step this week. And like it reminds me back of where I was, you know, and like you said, I'm not the person today that I was when I got here, you know, and I don't want to be that person. I was so angry when I got here, and I had to learn to let go of all that anger. It was built up from years, you know. So, you know, and I know even in the steps it says, you know, we can't do this together in the steps, like that it's a we program. because I have even tried going without a sponsor before, and I would say, this is when we lived in Dallas, and I would say, well, what would I tell my sponsees if they called me, and then I'd tell myself that. Well, I got into a lot of trouble doing that. I got into a lot of financial debt with shopping by not telling anybody what I was doing. And then we moved to California, and when we moved to California, I got another sponsor, and I told her I hadn't had a sponsor in quite a while, and she said, "Ooh, Steph will run riot," and that's what it was. It definitely was. So I told her about the shopping problem I had, and she said that I had to call her before I went shopping and tell her what I was going to buy and how I was going to pay for it. And so I'll never forget one day I wanted to go shopping so bad, I was screaming, my whole head was screaming like it does when I want to use drugs, it was just screaming at me. And Bob got home from work and I said, I want to go to the mall. And he said, what are you going to buy? And I said, it ain't about that. I just want to go to the mall. He said, have you called your sponsor? Oh, I got so mad. I went in the bedroom, pouted, and realized I'm not calling her and telling her, that I want to go shopping just for the, thrill of going shopping. And but you know what that taught me? It taught me that today when I go shopping, that if I buy something and I know that I'm not going to wear that, I can take it back today. I couldn't take it back then. I would give stuff away with price tags still on it because I didn't have enough self-esteem to take it back. And I had to learn how to, Bob put me on a budget one time. I had so much money I could spend in a month, and it really helped because when I went to the store, I would say, well, do I really, really want this? Do I really, really think I'll wear it, And so I still do that today too, and I don't, I do have a lot of clothes. I do have a lot of shoes. Me and Danny was discussing that. I brought a whole bag of shoes, But it's got to have choices, And I'm really grateful for, I was glad that somebody told me a long time ago when I first got here that to get a support group, because sometimes my sponsor may not be available. And so today I have a wonderful support group, I've been through stuff with my daughter before where I could call Kim crying on the phone or Pat, and know that they understood, and they would be there for me. And so that's part of what a hoe support group is, that somebody else I can rely on that might have been there, been through what I've been through. It's just, and to work the steps, I'm a little slow on working the steps this time, I've been on one quite a while, not one, but 8 quite a while. And, but I gotta say that I'm also doing the Living Clean book with 2 sponsees, so we're doing that also, so that takes up a lot of writing. So I'm not doing anything, I'm doing that, and I keep saying that when I finish that, then I'll get back to my regular step work. But then when I finish that, then I want to start the traditions, so it's like, but I love doing, being able to have when I got here, y'all, we didn't have this workbook we have today, and I think it's a wonderful workbook, because it helps with the whole I can't, we can stuff, because I need somebody to go over that workbook with me, so I can be able to bounce stuff off of them, and to realize that, Danny, I'm not the only one that's been through traumatic stuff in recovery. I've been through a lot of stuff with my daughter. Kim used to tell me all the time I needed to write a book because I've been through so much crap. But she's, it's any of you that have somebody in your life that's a using addict, you know what I'm talking about. It's so painful to watch them. And I know that I can't get her clean. That. She's gonna have to do that herself, and that's one of the things I did learn here too. That I cannot get anybody else clean, no matter how bad I want them. I got a whole family full of addicts, and none of them wants what I have. They don't. I tried to talk to one of my nephews not too long ago. He has 3 DUIs, and I said, "Don't you want to come to the fellowship and get clean and get over that?" And he said, "I like drinking." So did I, but it ruined my life, So, You know, and I had the same thought when I first got to NA. I thought that y'all were going to teach me how I could use successfully, not get into trouble. I could not hold a job before I got here. I could get lots of jobs, but I could not hold a job. I would either get fired or quit because I wouldn't show up. I would leave jobs where, you know, they still owed me a paycheck, and I never would even go back and get it because I'd be so embarrassed. And just that kind of stuff, you know. Over the years, I think I've learned a lot, you know. Bob told me the other day how many times we've moved since we've been together, but I forgot how many. It's like 38 times, 8 states, some of them twice, you know, coast to coast. And so I've had to learn every time we move. I'm a newcomer. Nobody knows me. You know, they don't. I even had somebody tell me one time when I moved to Atlanta, she said, "How do I know you have 9 years clean?" You know, oh, okay. You know, so that's the way it is. You know, when you move somewhere, they don't know you from Adam. You know, they don't know what's going on in your life, and so I've had to learn how to reach out and say, "Where y'all going for coffee? Can I go?" You know, and it's not always easy for me to do. I'm not unless I know you. I'm not one to really want to break into a conversation, but that was what I had to learn to do to be able to get to be a part of and to get into service work. I'm still into service work today, and even in service work, I know that I cannot do service work by myself. I need a whole slew of people. I'm going to be the chair for the convention next year in Louisiana, and it's going to be a lot of work, I know. And I've got a great committee right now. You know, they're all like really gung-ho and want to do their job, and so it's like so exciting, you know, to be a part of that. Because we're not a very big area where I live. You know, we're real small, and sometimes it's you see the same people at the same meeting over and over and over, and I know what you're going to say before you say it. You know, and it's like, but somebody asked me not too long ago, how do you make yourself keep coming back? How do you keep excitement? And I said, well, sometimes all I think about is who I'm going to see at the meeting, who I'm going to get a hug from. And then I was told a long time ago, if somebody's sharing that I don't like, just look down to the floor and try to hear that one thing that they might say that I can use, you know, and that works for me. It gets real repetitive sometimes where we live, you know, and one of the things, I'm going to get on my soapbox a little bit, one of the things that really bothers me with Narcotics Anonymous now where I live is that it's getting watered down. They come in, they want to talk about the Bible, they want to talk about Jesus, they want to talk about the other fellowship, you know, and I've tried to tell people, if we don't stop them and teach them, we're not going to be NA anymore. We're going to just be another 12-step fellowship, you know. It's not going to be Narcotics Anonymous, and I want it to be Narcotics Anonymous, you know, because it's what saved my life, and I know today that if I had not found Narcotics Anonymous, that I would not have made it much longer, because I wanted to die so bad before I got here. Every day, you know, I would think about wanting to die and how I could do it, but I was too chicken to kill myself, you know. I was wanting somebody else to do it, and so I know that that I have this new way of life. And like Danny said, it's not always easy. I go through a lot of shit. You know, sometimes I still think, you know, I have a lot of back pain and stuff, and I think, oh man, would a muscle relaxer sure would be good right now. But I know where that muscle relaxer would lead me, you know. I've had a lot of surgeries in recovery, and one of the things that my sponsor told me a long time ago with my first surgery, do not take pain pills over 3 days. Because after the 3rd day, your body doesn't know if you're taking it because you need it for the pain or if you need it because it's a drug. You know, so I get on Advil right away as soon as I can. And Advil works for me. You know I have a high tolerance for pain, but as long as I take Advil every 4 hours, it works for me. You know, I had foot surgery, what was it, 2 years ago we had foot
Almost,
surgery? Yeah, and I took the pain pills for 3 days. And one of the things that amazed me now is I don't like the way they make me feel. And pain pills were one of my favorite drugs, you know. And I said, God, really, I like this shit, you know? It makes you want to throw up, you know? It's like, dang, you know, I don't understand. So I'm really glad that God blessed me with that little part of it, you know, and that I don't have to enjoy that anymore. I don't know, I'm just really grateful for the women that I have in my life, you know, because they keep me on my toes, you know, and they keep me wanting to stay a little bit ahead of them, you know, always. I got one sponsee that's, she's really bad. Like, she called me yesterday, on the way, we were on the way from Florida. She said, "You been writing on your step?" I said, "I forgot to bring it with me. You want me to send it to you?" No. I don't want you to send it to me. She was going to email it to me. So, you know, it's just like, but that's the kind of people I like having in my life, you know, that I know that they care about me and they want to, the best for me, you know. And when I come to Atlanta, I practically have a room at Jim and Kimmy's house, you know, and I know that Jimmy probably wants rent sometimes because I'm there a little long, you know, but, you know, I really, I feel at home there, you know, and I don't feel at home a lot of places. Sometimes I don't even feel at home in my home, you know, and because I don't really have any close friends there. I have girls I sponsor, but not really close friends like I do when I come here, you know. So it's like we were talking today about people that doesn't have any integrity. I guess it was last night about if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it, you know. And one week, not too long ago, I got stood up to go to the movies twice in 1 week by 2 different women, and it devastated me. And all of a sudden, I was saying, "Well, I'm not going back to NA. You know, them people suck, you know." And what I realized, you know, is that's their stuff. That's not my stuff. You know, I'm not going to stand somebody up, you know, and not show up. That if I say I'm going to go unless it's really, really an emergency, you know. And to have integrity with my word, you know, that I can do that. I'm just, you know, really grateful. I love conventions. You know, I don't even know how many conventions I've been to, but, you know, we just had the pleasure of going to World and seeing everybody that I got to see there, because I know so many people from all over the United States, you know, and to be able to see those people again and to be able to get all those hugs, you know. And that's one of the things I like about conventions. You can't walk down the hall without getting a hug, you know, and that's awesome to me, you know, that even if it's somebody you don't know, you know, it's like that's part of the thing, you know, the whole we thing to me, that we got to help each other. But I don't know, I woke up in the middle of the night sick again, so I'm not really feeling very good, so I'm going to turn it over and let y'all have it. Thanks.
Thanks for sharing.